Dinarland, May 11, 2017. From Delta, Frank26, Adam Montana, Dawes, Cap and more. First up from Delta. I have to ask you about a meeting in Lebanon. The Iraqi Stock Exchange is raising its head out of the water. The Iraqi Stock Exchange, they were supposed to go international in the Nasdaq, and in the last quarter of 2016 they were supposed to go international, but that didn't work out for 2016, so they came out and said we are going to shoot for early 2017, but that didn't work out because they are waiting on the rate. For Iraqi Stock Exchange to go international, their currency has to be recognizable, Article 8, and they have to come up with a true rate, so they have been in Lebanon for 2 days in conferences. We know they have the platform, software. Again, this is another confirmation they are waiting on one thing, which is the currency reform, from the WB, to the IMF, to launching this or that, dinar, the CBI, and whatever they are doing right now. Nothing is going to work without the rate. Iraq is at a program rate, they have to have their purchasing power back, they have to have their wealth back, so all of this needs the rate, needs the currency reform, and that is why it is so significant now, seeing everyone going towards that. From Frank26. Let me now go in the direction of an article from an economist. This economist is actually an advisor and goes to many of the seminars and meetings, and he knows the CBI plan, so his opinion about what they are doing with their exchange rate, how they need to install it as the article says, is strong confirmation of what he is saying, because it is in accord with the CBI, IMF, WB plans or projects, which is to lift the exchange rate. This article itself is also pointing to the investors of Iraq. We are lifting the restrictions on the exchange rate, we are liberating the exchange rate from a program rate, because Mosul is not an issue anymore, and I believe they have gone from the concept of liberating Mosul to the liberation of the program rate, so the investors can come in and rebuild through the infrastructure of Iraq. All of a sudden it looks like they put the locomotive engine of the monetary reform back on track. From Adam Montana. In 17 days we will see the start of Ramadan. May 26th, this will run until June 24th, and then generally they have the 3-day feast. In the past you have mentioned that nothing much happens during Ramadan. What are your thoughts on this for 2017? Same. Let's see how the next week plays out. From Dawes. We thought it was the US or Iraq holding it up, turns out the WB had to approve their readiness. Big difference between a hold-up and a required alignment of interests. When a satisfactory condition and alignment of all the various interests and power structures have reached a point of reasonable satisfaction that their interests and goals are met, they will just as simply turn the money back on. From Adam Montana. What will happen to the other major currencies when the CBI RVs the IQD-USD exchange rate? The countries using the EUR, the GBP, the CHF, the JPY, and the CNY all have international corporations invested in Iraqi oil with contracts based on today's exchange rates. How will a radical upward IQD/USD RV, which effectively decreases the value of the USD against the IQD, affect the EUR/USD, and the GBP/USD, and the CHF/USD, and the JPY/USD, and the CNY/USD, exchange rates? Will these other major global currencies also be devalued, and what in your opinion will that do to an already stressed global economy? This is a great question, because it opens up the floor to discuss how an RV is really a zero-sum game, mostly because we are talking about a fiat currency. When the Fed prints more USD, we don't actually gain that money. It just dilutes the dollar a little bit more. IQD, and an RV of the currency, works the same way, just on a global scale. My opinion is that almost every other currency will take a slight hit, and then rebound once the IQD rate stabilizes, and within about a month all currencies will be back to normal, except the IQD will be dramatically different than it was a month prior. From George, LOL. Economists then wonder the government's insistence on the use of penny cash as a unit. They are not saying the fils or lower denominations are out in circulation. They are talking about the proposed future currency, the new lower denominations. It is obvious they are not in favor of the penny since they have not had the penny for over 30 years since the 1980s and the newer generation does not know anything about it or how to use it. So the CBI must be training the citizens on what to expect shortly. Why is this so good for us and the RV? Because they are talking about it. Mosul liberation is very close, and so what do you think they are planning to do next? Last up from Cap. Iraq is doing what is asked of them by the IMF and WB, though 3 to 6 months late, to prepare the banking system for international integration with the financial system. Iraq needed to make these changes, along with several others, including reducing the spread, to set the stage for acceptance into IMF Article 8. Remember, the goal here as stated in the SPA is to accept Article 8 to create a favorable business climate for investment. Accepting Article 8 will give freedom of movement of capital in and out of Iraq, so investors can get profits out, make the dinar convertible worldwide through the banking system, and most importantly allow the CBI to stop the daily auctions and let the market and world set the value for the dinar. They will stop the peg. This is all about creating the conditions for a market economy. Article: ATMs for MasterCard card users. It is fun to watch all the pieces be put in place for the economy to take off.